Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, professional colleagues. Let me, on behalf of the Director General of the Civil Service Agency, Dr. Josiah Ed Jr., invite you to this very special press briefing that sets the pace for a historic event, an unprecedented event in our country, Liberia. Before I call to give you an overview, let me just run you through the lineup we have today so that you'll be in the know before as the proceeding goes on. We have an overview of the occasion, which will be done by Director Moba Yobo. He's the chairperson of the steering committee of this historic event. Then we have a special statement that will give an insight, will be done by Honorable Josiah F. Jr., Director General of the Civil Service Agency and the lead person behind this idea. We have an invitation of committee members to give brief remarks. It also will be done by Honorable Josiah. Then we have time for answering, or questioning and answering, that is from the press to the lead facilitator here, or we say the presenter, Dr. Josiah, and some of his key members. We have an announcement be done by the chairperson of the steering committee, Director Yobo, then we can adjourn. With what I do, and with the time already consumed, we will call on for an overview. We call Director Yobo, who is the chairperson. Director Yobo.
Okay, good afternoon. Good afternoon. I want to welcome you all to the head office of the Civil Service Agency. And thank you for accepting our invitation to this press conference. So, Liberia is going to host a major regional conference. And this conference is going to bring together 5 other countries. That's Burkina Faso, Central African Republic, Guinea, Cote d'Ivoire, Sierra Leone, and host country Liberia. So the Director General, Dr. Jokai, has been in conversation with a health development institution based in Kigali, Rwanda. So that back and forth conversation has led us to this very moment, wherein we'll be hosting the first ever regional conference on human health workforce development. So when the idea of this conference came up, it was initially slated to be held in February. Actually much earlier than that. But because we had some housekeeping to do, and it was the first of this kind, so we had to give good enough time to ensure that we got it right on the first attempt. So that is why we chose to do it in March. So beginning tomorrow, conference with the panel of experts deliberating in their committee room, their technical committee room. And then thereafter on Thursday, that's when the official conference will convene, wherein the President of the Republic of Liberia, His Excellency President Joseph Bonka will praise the occasion and the people address. Now, the Director General gave you a much higher level update as to where we are, the formalities that are currently ongoing to ensure that the conference is a success. But what I can tell you is that in his wisdom, he appointed a committee, and I was blessed, lucky, for the lack of better word, to be selected among my equally qualified colleagues to chair this committee. And I'm very grateful for the level of cooperation I received from them so far. We, as a team, are doing incredibly well, and whatever outcome we get will be a collective effort. So I want to thank my committee members. So when the DG, the Director General, set up the committee, he said, well, this is something we're doing for the first time. So CSA alone cannot do this. We have to ensure that we work with our interministerial colleagues so that whichever aspect of the program that requires their intervention, they can seamlessly fit in. So it's from that backdrop that several other entities, 6 to be precise, were asked to join this interministerial steering committee. And we're happy to announce that we have representations here today who will be speaking, telling you exactly what roles they've played or they are playing to ensure the success of this conference. So I may come back again if you have specific questions, but the committee is working. As I speak to you right now, several of our committee members are working. For example, the procurement folks are setting up. The conference venue has been set up, the ballroom, the banquet hall, the meeting rooms have been set up. Delegates have been picked up from the airport. So a lot of things are happening as we're sitting right here. So we're hoping that the Q&A we're keeping as short as possible, but the DG has said that he wants to lead the first batch of delegates to the program, how most of them coming this afternoon, early evening. So the committee is working, and as a Director General, I want to thank you for the opportunity for me to serve with your guidance. I'll be honest, this is my first rodeo having somebody to speak trusted upon me, and I hope I've been filled by colleagues, and I'm thankful that they have been very cooperative, and the outcome of this conference will demonstrate exactly how supportive they have been of this endeavor. So I want to thank you all for coming again. I will now turn over to the moderator who will continue this press briefing. Thank you.
That was the voice of the chairperson of the steering committee, Director Mola Yoba, who gave us some overview. But like he stated, the most highlights will be done by the Director General himself. So any moment from now, we will turn the mic over to. So press, please welcome the Honorable Director General of the Civil Service Agency, Dr.
Thank you, Joe. Good afternoon, everybody. Distinguished guests, members of the press, our esteemed colleagues. It is my great honor this afternoon to welcome all of you to the Civil Service Agency, a familiar place, specifically our conference room, where we are holding this crucial press conference to update the public on preparations made so far in support of holding the first major regional conference on human health workforce development in our country. Liberia is hosting this historic conference that brings together Burkina Faso, Central African Republic, La Côte d'Ivoire, and Sierra Leone. These countries will join Liberia, making it a total of 6 to hold what we call first ever regional public service leadership conference on human health workforce development. The conference will take place from March 4 to 7 at the Ellen Johnson Sirleaf Ministerial Complex here in Compton. It will afford us the opportunity, among the 6 countries, to engage in critical discussions aimed at strengthening public service institutions and advancing the human health workforce in our nations. This conference is a crucial step toward building resilience and strengthening innovative institutions for sustainable development. This conference is held under the theme, Advancing Human Health Workforce Through Public Service Excellence, Building Resilient and Innovative Institutions for Sustainable Development. This conference, as I indicated earlier, will create a platform for us collectively to address key challenges affecting public administration and healthcare governance. So, from March 4th to the 5th, a panel of public service and health experts will meet to deliberate and draft for the first time in Africa a regional public service leadership framework that will guide workforce development efforts across not only the 6 nations, we are the convener as the 6 nations, but for Africa. Then on March 7th and 6th and 7th, health ministers and public service leaders from participating countries will review, validate, and officially adopt the draft framework. This structured approach ensures that our discussions lead to concrete, actionable outcomes that will shape governance and health policies in the region. Public service institutions, again, this is a given. Public service institutions across West and Central Africa mainly face similar challenges. And some of these challenges include limited resources, outdated infrastructure, and governance inefficiencies. These factors hinder our ability to provide high-quality services to our people. However, this conference presents a unique opportunity to exchange best practices, develop innovative solutions, and strengthen cross-border collaboration to address these challenges effectively. Ladies and gentlemen, throughout the conference, our discussions will align with international governance principles, drawing insights specifically from institutions such as the International Civil Service Commission, the RCSC, and the Health Development Partnership for Africa and the Caribbean, HEDPAC, which is a soft partnership initiative that will play a key role in convening this conference. What do I mean by that? HEDPAC is the sponsor of this conference. We are working with them, we are the implementer, but we sought this sponsorship, the Civil Service Agency, on behalf of the government of Liberia. So HEDPAC is providing support to this conference. And I just want to backtrack a little bit to say that this is the kind of innovative and creative approach that we should be adopting at this point in time when we are having serious resource constraints as a government and country, and across Africa. It's not just unique to Liberia. Part of that is the impact of the USA freeze or pull-out. And I think such soft partnership, I mean the one with HeadPack right now, is an approach that we need to adopt. Looking inside Africa, Africa to Africa kind of collaboration and partnership will help us to address most of our problems, address some of our challenges with respect to resource constraints, respect to strengthening our institutions, bringing about efficiency in the delivery of our services. So the Civil Service Agency is taking one such approach, and I think that's leadership. So the key focus areas of the conference include data-driven policy making. That's one of the focus areas. And we will have the opportunity to bring them here to see our new testing center, which will be going live very soon. When we say data-driven policy making, that's one major aspect of it. How we've automated our system, and we rely on data that we collected through our employee status regularization project that we did. And we realize an aging workforce. So as many of the older folks are leaving the workforce, we have to set the stage for professional young people to come here and take over. That's something that our colleagues will learn from us as well. There's a lot for us to learn from them. So we don't have to look to UN agencies, international organizations to do some of these things to bridge the gaps. There are other things that we can look up to them for, we can work along with them for. But some of the low-hanging fruits, such as this one, just require us being bold and direct and taking the right steps to address these issues as nations. So when we come together, it's a platform for learning. Another aspect or area of focus of the conference will be merit-based recruitment and workforce blending. I just talked about it. I gave a classic example of how we can leverage that. And we can also learn from them, because they will also be letting us know what are some of the things they are doing in those areas in their countries. Efficient service delivery models. So we have to talk to them about some of the things we're doing to automate our recruitment process, our performance management system, and I'm sure some of them will want to also let us know what to do in those areas. So cross-cutting issues that we can learn from and help to strengthen our institutions. So strengthening institutional resilience, that's another area of focus that we have to look at. So these areas will be areas of focus for the discussions over the next 4 days here in Liberia. So as I said, that's very historic that we are hosting. It brings pride to us, not just as CSA, but to the country, and that we are initiating this process. Some of you will recall that just before the year ended 2024, I made rounds around in our region. I went to Ghana, I went to Cote d'Ivoire, and other places, and I was able to engage with public service institutions, the Fair Wage, Commission, Salaries Commission of Ghana, the Public Service Commission of Ghana, the Civil Service Commission of Ghana, the Ministry of Public Administration of Cote d'Ivoire, and I ran with this idea that there is a need for us to establish a regional framework that will bring all of us together to establish a platform where we are able to do experience sharing, where we are able to pull resources and help each other technically to build our institutions' efficiency and bring about productivity. And this was but the fact that these countries are coming here for this historic conference tells you that the CSA initiative of paging the whole idea about regional framework is working. And this is a good beginning. So as part of the conference proceedings, the Civil Service Agency of Liberia, the Ministry of Health of Liberia, and HeadPack will officially sign a memorandum of understanding to formalize their partnership. And holding this conference is part of that partnership. We initially had the electronic signature, but this time we want to do it formally. And on behalf of Liberia, I will be signing. The Minister of Health will also be signing. This agreement will enhance collaboration and reinforce commitments to sustainable workforce development and public service reforms. So the support to this conference is just the beginning of HeadPack's support to public service reform with emphasis on human health workforce development. There's a lot that we have to do to cater to the workforce, the health workforce of this country, human health workforce of this country. We have to make sure that conditions are improved. We have to make sure that the right people, in terms of those having the profession and cultural fit to occupy those critical positions in the healthcare sector. We have to make sure that they're motivated. We have to make sure that they're satisfied to be able to provide the kind of services they provide to our nation. Our nation's recovery and development strongly depend on the people, the quality and caliber of healthcare workers that we have in our country. And this is why the CSA is prioritizing that, and the CSA is strategically partnering with the Ministry of Health to make sure that we place specific focus on developing and improving the well-being and professionalism of healthcare workers in our country. So I have to let you know that there are several benefits to this initiative. I've talked a lot about the domestic aspect of it, but I also want to let you know that the initiative will contribute directly to the African Union's 2063 agenda and the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals by promoting regional integration, inclusive governance, and sustainable access to essential services. So what we're doing is not in isolation. We are also doing it to support regional and international integration initiative that we've undertaken years back for them, with a goal to achieve this in years to come. So Liberia is well on course with making sure that our human resource workforce development efforts are also integrated or support strongly regional and international approaches. So this conference is not just about having discussions or a fanfare. It's about taking action. So we are seizing the moment to collectively foster strong partnerships, to embrace innovation, and to commit to meaningful reforms. The outcomes of our engagement will not only strengthen governance structures, but will also improve the quality of life for the people we serve in our nations. In other words, the 5 countries are coming here to Liberia for serious business. They are coming to join us so that we can collectively reason together. We can establish a framework that will bring on board the other African countries, and we can broaden this regional initiative so that nations of Africa can begin to look to each other for support in areas that others have strength, and where there are weaknesses, others with strength in those areas can bridge those gaps. And that we don't have to all the time sit and wait for traditional allies to come and support us, because here in Africa we have the resources. We just need to be strategic, both the human resources, the material resources. We have them to strengthen and improve our institutions, but someone has to take the leadership. And I will tell you that as a Liberian and head of the Civil Service Agency, I am very pleased that Liberia has taken the bold step to lead this initiative. And tomorrow is going to be referenced historically that this initiative was initiated by Liberia. And it's something that's going to become a continental institution that countries of Africa and the people, especially so of Africa, can benefit from. I'm looking forward to an insightful discussion over the next 4 days. I'm sure we can evolve impactful strategies that we all can develop and adapt together. And I want to take this time. I know our colleagues now, many of them are flying. This afternoon we'll be receiving Temeskin from HEDPAC. He's one of the representatives from HEDPAC. The executive officer, Dr. Jesus Jitahom, will be here on the 5th, that is. He will be attending the grand opening that will be graced by His Excellency the President, Joseph Limobwaka Sr. And not only that, he will be addressing them through the keynote address. The president will be talking about all of these things that are lined up and the commitment of our government to making sure that they happen. And you and I will be welcoming all of our guests to our beautiful city, Monrovia. Monrovia is changing. When you look around, you see the infrastructure and you see the array of entertainment places. Some of them now you can match with those in other areas, meeting internationals. I'm sure they're going to enjoy Monrovia when they're here. So I would like us to work together to build a stronger, more resilient and innovative public service sector in Liberia, but most of all across Africa. And that's the main goal of the conference that is beginning tomorrow. Before I invite our colleagues here from different government institutions that are members of the interministerial committee, like the chairman of the steering committee indicated, I just want to take a special moment to say thanks to the employees of the civil service agency. These are wonderful people. These are great people. And we have some of the best in the government. Everything happening in terms of reform and strengthening the resilience of our civil service is happening because of the individuals in the employ of the CSA who work tirelessly, sleepless nights they have. Sometimes we are here up to 8:30, 9 p.m. And depending on the magnitude of the work we have to do, we are here up to 10 p.m. The successes we're achieving that you're seeing out there are not happening by mistake or by accident. It's deliberate on our part collectively in the CSA. This is a moment I like to seize to congratulate all of you. My deputies are awesome. The senior management, amazing team. The entire workforce at CSA, extraordinary, great people. I want to say thank you. And this is the moment. The first time Liberia is hosting this. But it is also the first time across Africa. So you need to know that. And know that whatever efforts you've made over the last few weeks, you have to redouble those efforts so that the conference can be successful. If everybody waits for the job to be done, the job is not going to be done. When you think that papers are to be compiled, then don't wait for everybody. When you think that you need to move the pens, move the pens. When you think that you're supposed to direct people to their rightful seats, don't wait for the head of hospitality to do that. Or the protocols to do that. Talk to the protocol officers, do it. When you know that you're supposed to escort somebody somewhere, maybe to the washroom or in the corridors, in the breakout rooms, just make sure you do it diligently. Do it. You are doing it not for yourself, you are doing it not for CSA, you are doing it for the government and the people of this great country. Whatever you have to do to make this conference a success, do it. As the chairman said, there are many of the committee members who are out right now. Some have left for the airport to go to receive the first set of guests. Later on, I myself will be going to the airport to receive the last batch coming for today. Is going to be a little later. I have to be there because these people are called us, all of these consciences will go to their countries. So we want to make sure that it's reciprocated. But I want to thank everybody, and at this time, I will take turn, going to from entity to entity, so that they can tell. First, we'll begin with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. I know Greg is here. Do we have the other microphone? Yes. Can we take the microphone to Greg? So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you. That's the brief statement, but we'll now start hearing from members of the interministerial committee in terms of where we are, what preparations have been made.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Her Excellency Sarah Beso-Yampi, I'd like to express our pleasure and honor to share stage with colleagues from across government, ministries, agencies, and commission for the Public Service Leadership and Human Health Workforce Development Conference. in public service via the inculcation of psychological security. I would like to extend thanks to the Director General of the Civil Service Agency, Honorable Dr. Josiah F. Joka Jr., for being magnanimous enough in initiating this event. The ministry has served as the conduit between the government of Liberia and our different international and regional partners. We will continue to foster international collaborations due to the pivotal role it has played in mobilizing this conference thus far. The ministry, through the Office of the Chief of Protocol of the Republic of Liberia, Honorable Anthony M. Wallow, reaffirmed our commitment in providing the requisite protocol officers in an effort to ensure perfect decorum throughout this conference. Thank you.
Okay, I just wanted to add that specifically the Ministry of Foreign Affairs work with us very closely in sending out all the invitations. We have the government formality. The invitations are sent as note verbals, and all those note verbals were first sent, and we're getting jittery when we're not getting responses from the countries, and then we create an effort. Also follow up with the embassies here with additional note verbals. And for the third time, the ministry had to issue the third set of note verbals as reminders and asking them to treat their participation in the conference as a matter of urgency. And the minister also took to the phones and called and made sure that those countries confirm their delegations. So we want to say thank you so much for your representation on the Interministerial Committee. It's been very helpful to this point. We just learned that one of the guests just arrived from Headback, so they're picking them up. I think that's good news. We want to go to the Liberia Airport Authority. I'll put it there to give us an update.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Mr. DG and members of the steering committee, members of the press, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I bring you warm greetings from the managing director, the management team, and the entire workforce of the Liberia Airport Authority. The LAA is extremely grateful for the recognition to form part of this historic event that is geared towards hosting policy experts and government officials from 5 countries to formulate appropriate policies that promote human health and workforce development in our respective public sectors. Hosting this event brings pride to us as a country and people. As an entity of government responsible for air transportation, the Liberia Airport Authority has put in place the necessary mechanism to ensure that guests are received for the 5 countries and the Ramos International Airport. The LAA wants to assure the CSA that remains committed to supporting this cause to the very end. Thank you so much, and we look forward to a successful conference.
Thank you so much. You heard from yourself, or I mean from the horse's mouth that they put in place all the mechanisms already. They put in place all the mechanisms already to make sure that our guests are well received and everything with respect to their travel. So we're very grateful. LAA, thank you so much. Mr. Chairman, I saw you holding the microphone. You wanted to say something?
Yeah.
Yeah, DG, you already said it. Ethel and Greg have been very instrumental. Ethel is now where I thought she just said that, so I will pass out to her. I wish her speedy recovery. And she was
She got sick at the start of the event itself. But I will speak to, I'm not sure it's GSA here. I'm not sure GSA is here. Our Deputy Director General for Administration is not here because he's currently at GSA. He's working with them to deal with logistical issues. GSA has been very instrumental. The conference is going to be held right here in the complex, in the ballroom. That's the official conference hall. We also have access to the breakout rooms, 2 of them. They're all set up already. The conference hall is set up. And from here, if you guys want to go and see the conference hall, we can just go in there. You guys see the way the setup is for the conference that starts tomorrow. The private rooms also upstairs. And my understanding is that the banquet hall is being set up all for meal purposes, everything. And all of this is happening because of the collaboration between the CSA and the GSA. So a lot is being done to make sure that we receive, all the courtesies and the logistics needed for the conference. That's the GSA component. If any of them walking before the conference is over, we'll just let them speak to that a little bit. Mr. Chairman, do we have the police? No. And it's simple. You can talk about that.
Yeah, they are not here because they are coordinating pickups from the airport. As I speak to you, have one escort car already parked downstairs, which will escort you to the airport. And then while you pick up your counterpart. So today we're going to have one head of dedication who is coming much earlier. So I hope he's going to have the whole 9 yards. And the conference, yeah, he's coming from Burkina Faso. He's the head of the Public Service Commission here in Burkina Faso. So he's going to be here. Yeah.
You also want to mention that Honorable Calon is not going to be coming. The Minister of State, he really looked forward to this conference. He was really excited, unfortunately. How long you want to talk about?
Yes, actually, he was one of the first to confirm his participation. One of the first, Sierra Leone was one of the first delegations that confirmed all of the delegates. In fact, at some point, we're torn between who to get in first. So at the last meeting, I was informed by the embassy today that he won't be here because the president is out of the country. President Madabir is out of the country, and he can be out as well. The Minister of State can be out, so that's why he declined. But as I'm speaking now, we're trying to see if we can have the chairman of the Public Service Commission, Dr. Khalidu Umar Bar, to come in. Yeah, so we're working on that. Hopefully before the end of this press conference we'll have more information to share. But Sierra Leone is properly represented at the highest level. Same as Burkina Faso, same as Cote d'Ivoire. So yeah.
Oh, great. Good to know that. We have to give you all of the pieces so you know exactly who's coming. But we have a huge delegation from Sierra Leone. I must say that today. Sierra Leone is going to have the highest. Yes.
One of them have the Deputy Head Minister, Dr. Brahma Sensi. Yes, they'll be going to actualize there.
So yes, we have a huge delegation. So LIS, do we have the LIS people here? LIS, we're now going to LIS. Look, LIS did something, I told Edwin that I thought it was a joke. The moment the first listing came up of people who needed visas, and then I said, okay, I hear you. In about 2-3 hours, Edwin said, for the visas have been issued. I said, no, you're joking. That's not possible. So it's better for us to hear from LIS. They've been very supportive as well.
Thank you very much. And good evening. From the Office of the Acting Commissioner General of the LIS, Honorable Elijah F. We want to take this time to bring you greetings from the Office of the Acting Commissioner General for the level of work that we have all put in to reach this far. We want to say that this collaborative effort has been one that we have all been yearning for, and I think it has been well. And just as the DG mentioned, and it is all because of the effort and the collaboration that got those work going on as they went on, and as he said, we want to say that we hope that what we have to do, we have done it, and update as to the obligation and the service that LRS has to render to make this initiative achievable one. We are open to it. We want you to know that anytime he's ready and his offices are open for the service to make this conference a successful one. This is indeed a national initiative, and the LIS is very proud and excited to be part of it. Thank you very much, and we hope to see a successful conference. Once more, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so kindly. That's highly appreciated. I know we talked about the LNP earlier. Molba shed some light, but let me just tell you that LNP is in 100%. They're providing the escort vehicles, and they're also providing full security for the entire conference. LNP has been represented at all the meetings at the highest level, the interministerial meeting at the highest level. They've been represented, and they've committed, and that's exemplified by the fact that we already have the escort vehicle downstairs, and we have police. We'll be going for the first batch of people. When we leave this conference in a moment from now, we'll be headed to the airport to receive the first batch. But I'm not sure I'm leaving any other group. I think we talked about this has spoken in the foreign affairs, Minister of Health. Minister of Health. Right now, Chris should be getting ready, right, for tomorrow. So Chris, who is representing the Minister of Health, will be setting the stage for the breakout sessions tomorrow, because the breakout sessions will be those sessions that will determine the contents of the framework, the regional framework. So she has a major task. So we're looking forward to receiving specialists, experts from the Ministry of Health, Liberia, who will be there tomorrow. But the biggest news is that the Honorable Minister of Health, Dr. Poto, is going to be addressing the panel of experts tomorrow. She is the keynote speaker. Just to tell you how serious the Civil Service Agency and the government is when it comes to human health workforce development. This is a collaborative effort. It is now one entity sitting in one corner and trying to do stuff. No, we are working together as a team in the interest of our country and, of course, the region. So at this point, Joe, I'd like to turn it over to you, and you can take it from there. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Director General. Just listening, I think we'll reach a stage where we'll be asking those questions. We will want to entertain not more than 10 very brief questions. Okay, 5, did you just said? Professional colleagues, let me just remind you that indeed you are privileged to have a media-friendly Director General who sees us as the media practitioners to be partners in progress. This is why at all times and at every time he speaks so highly about you. So it's because you are so pivotal in bringing the public up to speed on what we do here. But what we do here is more than progress and getting that bureau there. So thank you ever so much for always coming in the midst of challenges. So we will take, just call your name, your institution, then just a question. Very brief, please. So let me, from the far, recognize.
My name is Edwin Chinoe. I work for Foundation.
This is Focus on Liberia.
I'm concerned about
Welcome
how
wherever
will
you
the
are.
conference help strengthen public service capacity in participating countries? That's the first question.
That's the question we have. All right. How I address that is simple. So we said we are coming together to establish a platform, a regional platform that we can learn from each other. We can share experiences. We can pool resources. And I gave you a classic example, HEDPAC, the Health Development Partnership for Africa and the Caribbean. That's a continental institution. It's international, but we're proud to have it as an African institution. that is providing support to this conference. This is not a UNDP, a USAID, or World Bank supported initiative. This is Africa to Africa. And that's the kind of thing we're talking about. We want to enhance that. Bringing African countries together to begin to discuss, to talk in the framework of supporting each other. We'll be able to identify challenges, gaps, and we will be able to bridge it. Institutions that can help to bridge those gaps right in Africa from other countries, we'll identify them and we'll be able to step in. And so it's going to be great. It's a way of supporting each other, strengthening our efforts. And our respective public service institutions and healthcare institutions will immensely benefit from that, because the role of the CSA on workforce enhancement, workforce improvement, and ensuring productivity, that will be the focus. And I'll talk about the thematic areas that the conference will focus on: data-driven policy making. Every country will benefit from that because it's going to be a regional framework that we all will have access to. Merit-based recruitment and workforce planning. Employees in the various institutions, public service institutions, healthcare institutions in member states will definitely benefit from efficient service delivery models, different models, how we do our recruitment, how we do our performance management. All of those things, people will benefit from those models. Strengthening institutional resilience, how we will not allow our institution to wear out, to break down. How we continuously innovate and be creative in deriving strategies that will build and strengthen our institutions. So basically, that's what it's intended for.
Thank you. So we next one.
All right, my name is Arthur B. and I report for Ahmed. Basically, I'd like to understand the sheer cost of the monetary value to the conference. Is the conference, in terms of cost analysis, shared between the countries, or Liberia take full responsibility? How much are you spending to have this?
The cost of the conference is $50,000, and it's far less. Initially, we budgeted around $60,000, and we had a working section with head back supporting, and we drew down to $50,000. $50,000 is covering everything, airfare for all of the people, the tickets, the hotels, the meals, and everything. In fact, we were so innovative because we were going to use hotel, we were going to be paying as of attendant for the conference center. So as a government, we decided to move it from a hotel to our own place. That's how we're able to cut down costs drastically towards this. So it's going to be $50,000. We're not sharing costs. Headback is covering that, and all of the procurement processes are going through our PPCC process, every aspect of it. In fact, there was no approvals until procurement processes were all approved. One of the reasons why we had to move the conference from February to move it to March, to make sure that we satisfy all established procedures and processes. But the cost is not shared with those institutions. Those institutions are not paying. We are responsible for their hotel accommodations. Are we responsible for incidental? Yes. They are receiving incidental when they arrive. So everything is part of the cost. They are not paying anything. Liberia is covering, is shouldering through the support of headback.
Can I have the official colleagues female? Then we'll come to female. Okay. Yes.
Good afternoon, my name is Mamoto, Report Liberia Investigator. Just for a little bit who is following the broadcasting, listening to the EDC, the UC.
You meant the DG?
The DG, sorry.
All right.
So, talking about UC freezing this support material, and you said with this big initiative, we're going to cover some of these gaps. I just want to understand, how do we raise some of this money to fill some of these initiatives? Is it that we're going to give them some money, they put some money together and say, okay, that we're saying want to fill, the other money going to fees? How do we benefit as a country? How country can benefit from this initiative?
So first, I'd like to clarify that I am not saying that the support from Headback is going to bridge USAID exit gap. No. I want to underscore that very strong, very, very strong. You might not be intentional, maybe unconsciously, you might wrongly interpret what I've said, but I want to say that it is about time that in Liberia we begin to be creative and very innovative. The cost of this conference could be a burden of the government. Do you agree to that? It could be a burden to the government because it's worthwhile. It's very genuine to building white forces across our nation and to putting Liberia out there as taking the leadership to do this. It could be costly, and the government was going to foot the bill, correct? But the government is not. So we are saying, for example, an initiative of this nature probably would have been a proposal from the CSA to UC, or from the CSA to UNDP, the CSA to UNFPA, the CSA to World Bank. But we are saying no. Instead of us now just sitting silently, paying attention to all these traditional allies, it has to be World Bank, it has to be UC, it has to be UNDP. No, I'm saying we can begin to have Africa to Africa conversation, looking within, a soft kind of support. And that's what we're exemplifying here by this. The support for this conference is coming from Headbank. Headbank. All right, they help development partners for Africa and the Caribbean. It's Africa. This is not any kind of UN agency or international group. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying we can go beyond the Headbank arrangement. We can start to look in other areas. Do we need support for education? Maybe bridging the gap by making sure that one child has a chair in the classroom, the president's initiative. We can look in Africa. We don't have to wait for UC, wait for UNDP, and they can bring support to us to do that, but it's going to be from Africa. So we don't have to be general, we don't have to be scared, the day World Bank pulls out of Liberia, and we don't have to worry about that. So plus minus World Bank pulling out, you already have some strategies in place. We will also focus on domestic resource mobilization and be very drastic in cutting down some of the expenses that we make. And we can still raise money to bridge some of those gaps. But with respect to this conference, I am only saying that this is a creative way, this is an innovative way, not to put financial burden on government. CSA is undertaking this, we realize it, but the government is the one doing it, but the government is not going to pay a dime for this. Is Headbank that's going to cover the cost of this conference. So if all other people across the other agencies can begin to take their eyes off, direct government support and shift that to identifying their own sources like we did. We had to establish the cost, the justification. We had to convince, we had to show the credibility of our institution. And before people trust you with their dollar or cent, they have to trust you. That credibility has to be there, that integrity has to be there. If you ask me, I would tell you resoundingly, the CSA has credibility and integrity that anyone will want to do business with us. Yeah, so that's the reason why we're doing this.
The CSA has indeed credibility and will attract any other investors. So that's right. So I want to take two female, please.
You saw me, sir?
Okay, yeah, I just wanted to balance. Yes, the last person.
Yeah, so DJ, my name is Afonso Kalama, and I run for the People Newspaper. I want you to tell us how long this conference will last. I'm not sure I've heard this. And secondly, you talk about...
They see your recording. It's
okay.
4 days,
okay,
Tuesday to Friday.
Okay, that's what I said. I'm not sure I heard it. Secondly, you talk about coming up with a resolution after the conversation. So, how soon do you expect this resolution to take effect?
The conference ends on Friday. The resolution will be out on Friday.
That's the implementation aspect I'm talking about.
The strategy for implementation will be clearly articulated in the resolution. Who does what, how, when, where. Maybe I answer his question because his hand was up, but that's
But he said one person, I want to put my hand down. He said,
Okay, so we'll give you the.
all right, DJ, I'm Samuel Johnson. I report for whoever in TV. You said this is the very first time Liberia is hosting a conference like this. My question is, what is the trickle-down effect this conference will have on the ordinary government employees that are out there that may not be part of the conference?
They don't have to be part of the conference, which is not possible. If every citizen has to be part of a conference of this nature, then there will be no conference. That's the first thing I can say. Second, the conference is here on their behalf. And the strategy to implement the outcomes of the conference will benefit them. They are the ultimate targets of this. And it's not just the ones in Liberia, it's also the ones in other countries that are participating. So the strategy from the conference, everybody is going with it in their respective countries. That we have a responsibility. That's why we say actionable outcomes. This conference is not one of those regular talking shops. This conference is one of those platforms that is going to lead to actionable outcomes. And in this country, you guys know me, either we're not doing it or we're doing it. And I'm very sure that I will have a role to play in this regional arrangement. And if that will be the case, then it means you can be sure that we will work closely with our colleagues to ensure scrupulous implementation of the outcome of the conference to benefit our targets, our primary targets. Yeah.
So the very last, the chief pastor.
All right, so my name is Perry Zoyu. I write for New Republic newspaper.
Did you say Perry?
Perry.
Perry.
And I'm much more concerned. Other people out there may also be wondering. This is the first of its kind. Why now is it that Africa are now, countries in Africa, they are looking at one another for such projects or such initiatives? Is it because UC and other international partners are withdrawing their support from the African nations?
The conference discussion started prior to UC action. And as I told you, the preliminary part of it was my trip to those countries to sell the idea to them. There was no conversation about UC exit or UC freeze. No conversation about that. Here at CSA, we have short, medium to long-term plans at CSA. Yeah, and we are not moved by what we see. We are moved by what exists scientifically at CSA. What we are doing here, this conference is one of the interventions to address some of the issues we identify based on data that we have before us. We did an ESRB in this country. And some of the data we collected were on gender representation, and was on educational credential, was on aging workforce. This intervention, this approach, is one of those interventions that we address some of the issues that we identify. But we realize that the data does not just represent data of our workforce, that the data jives with data from other countries' workforces. Yes, our data jives with the data of other countries' workforces. That's simple. But then it will be a drop in the bucket. We can't just be looking at our workforce when we are having similar challenges. I listed that to you. We have outdated infrastructure. We have limited resources. If you check in West and Central Africa, many of the institutions, many of the healthcare institutions are affected by these same challenges. I listed them here. You have in your recording. It's part of your recording in your phone. I said the reason. I said across West and Central Africa, we have similar challenges. Yeah, infrastructure challenges, institutional inefficiencies. It's not unique to Liberia, but it cuts across these very countries that are coming here today. You cross the border in Sierra Leone, in La Guinea, in La Côte d'Ivoire, in Burkina Faso. All those places, they have similar challenges. Their healthcare institutions, their public service institutions are affected by the same challenges, limited or lack of resources. Outdated infrastructure, institutional inefficiencies. We all have it. So how can we fix the problem? To fix the problem, we all have to reason together. We have to learn together. We have to understand what we're doing in our respective countries to fix the problem. Do they want to learn from Liberia what we're doing with automating our performance management system, automating our testing system to bring about merit-based recruitment? Yes, they will be glad. Do we want to learn from Cote d'Ivoire what she's doing with her system? We want to learn from Burkina Faso what they're doing with their system. We want to learn from Guinea what she's doing with her system. The answer is a resounding yes. So that's the goal, the overarching goal of the conference. Bring everybody together with the same challenges to be able to reason together and solve the problem. But when you say you have a concern with everything I've explained, then it's leaving me with the understanding that probably you have not gathered while we're having a conference. I'd like to ask you, is there anything you've heard that you like about this upcoming conference? Is there anything? No, it's a question that needs an answer if you don't mind. Is there anything you like about what you've heard from the entire press conference regarding the conference that starts tomorrow? Okay, so as you say, we'll continue. But I want to thank all of you. Thank you so much for taking up your time as usual. We're always open to receive you and always looking forward to having the exchanges. Like I said, with other media, nobody will know what we're doing here. The media is cardinal. And I've also said to people, you can do 1 million things. You can do positive things. But if the media is not involved to sell it to the public, you're not doing anything. And that is why you are so precious. For the media, for me, I heart you guys. And I want to say congratulations to you for the job that you do. Thank you so much.
Well. I told you.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Focus on Liberia, a live broadcast.
Chairperson of the steering committee, Director Gabo.
We are in a major press conference held by the Civil Service Agency on the Regional Public Service Leadership Conference on Health, Workforce Development, Advancing Human Health, Workforce through Public Service Excellence, Building Resilience and Innovative Institutions for Sustainable Development.
So that will be a program tomorrow.
I want to say thanks for watching. And tomorrow the conference begins with delegates arriving at the Roberts International Airport. They have started coming already. And so the program starts tomorrow. You're welcome. As Focus on Liberia will be there. My name is Gwendolyn Dorado. So thanks for watching.
So we thank you for coming. We have more work to do. A lot of things is still to cover. Our co-chair is not here. I was wondering if you have something to say. Otherwise, I will see you tomorrow.